What happened? You just had a little too much to drink?
No, Jesse, not at all. I was very excited about the actual musical. Huge fan of Beetlejuice. Anyone should go and see the musical if it's in your area.
You were so enthralled by Beetlejuice, you got carried away.
A little bit. You know, Jesse, it's been 20 years since I was in the dating scene, and back then there were not infrared cameras watching my every move.
All I gotta say is I can't go out to lunch in Florida in my free time, not doing anything, just eating outside, and it's wall-to-wall Fox News coverage. And then you have a member of Congress engaging in sexually lewd acts in a public theater, and they got nothing to say.
As Lauren Boebert goes on her PR rehabilitation tour, which involves appearances on Newsmax and papping herself, yes, really, the cringe knows no bounds.
Congresswoman, I know it's, been a rough week. Or has it been?
It's always hard whenever there's gravity put on the voters. I'm here to provide levity and lift burdens off of people. So anytime that they're carrying mine, it's something that kind of feel deep inside. But ultimately, all future date nights have been canceled, and I learned to check party affiliations before you go on a date. But all in all, it was mostly a lovely time, and I've taken responsibility for my actions. Would love to know how the musical ended.
AOC was asked during a live video what she thought of the whole Lauren Boebert scandal, and she used her time to immediately call to attention the hypocrisy of said party of family values.
All I gotta say is I can't go out to lunch in Florida in my free time, not doing anything, just eating outside, and it's wall-to-wall Fox News coverage. And then you have a member of Congress engaging in sexually lewd acts in a public theater, and they got nothing to say. I danced to Phoenix once in college, and it was like all over the place. But putting on a whole show of their own at Beetlejuice, and there's nothing. I'm just saying be consistent. That's all I'm asking for. Equal treatment. I don't expect it, but come on.
Now, AOC is not the only one that has made this very point. On The View last week, Anna Navarro, amidst dropping one of the best one-liners I've heard in a long time.
Lauren Boebert, we have a montage of some of the stuff she's been saying, because she's a staunch supporter of children. God forbid a child see the fake boobies of a drag queen. Apparently the fake boobies of a trash queen are okay. Damn!
Reiterated how ironic it is that the same person who uses every ounce of camera time that she clamours for to demonize marginalized groups and frame the LGBTQ community as some sort of sexual deviance, all while indulging in sexually explicit acts in public during a child-friendly musical. It's ironic but also typical of the GOP.
We certainly shouldn't be pushing this grooming agenda in our schools. They have radical gender ideology and even drag shows to impressionable young children. I urge my colleagues to pass my amendment to protect our military children from obscene content they should not be exposed to.
This weekend, I was reading all of this stuff, right? And I'm thinking to myself, it's like Republicans gone wild. So one, you got this woman, Bobert, getting kicked out because she was getting fondled in the middle of a matinee. Then you've got Kristi Noem, the governor of North Dakota, who's allegedly in an affair with Corey Lewandowski, who's also married. Both of them are.
I hadn't heard that.
Then you've got Donald Trump, who's like 50 points ahead of everybody else, who cheated on his first wife with the second, on the second with the third, on the third with a stripper and a Playboy bunny who they had to pay hush money to.
And the least surprising aspect of it all is the silence from her colleagues, the crickets. You've got local news anchors tearing into her more so than her fellow colleagues.
It's time that we acknowledge something that may be obvious by now. We hold Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert to a different standard than every other elected official in Colorado. We hold Congresswoman Bobert to a far lower standard. If we held her to the same standard as every other elected Republican and Democrat in Colorado, we would be here near nightly chronicling the cruel, false, and bigoted things that Bobert says for attention and fundraising. This is not about politics, assuming politics is still about things like taxes, national security, healthcare, jobs, and public lands. This is about us, as journalists, recognizing that we'll hold a politician accountable if they say something vile once, but we won't do it if they do it every day. Our double standard is unfair to all the elected officials in Colorado, Republicans and Democrats, who display human decency.
Why? Because they're too busy trying to ignite fires down the street to deflect from the fact that their own house is ablaze.
That come from the Senate?
It's hard to pass everything in this place.
Pretty dire situation. We are witnessing a full-scale paralysis among House Republicans where divisions within the party are fully grinding the chamber to a halt. They are not able to pass long-term government funding bills. They're not able to pass a short-term government funding bill, even though it is loaded up with conservative priorities that the hard right wants. And they're not even able to pass this so-called rule to debate a defense funding bill that they support. And the reason is these hard right Republicans want assurances from Speaker McCarthy about how this appropriations process is going to end once it gets to President Biden's desk. Assurances that Speaker McCarthy is simply in no position to make. They control the House, Democrats control the Senate, Democrats control the White House.
From hollow impeachments to once again holding the government to ransom. Meanwhile, as AOC pointed out also over the weekend, Biden is going to lengths that no other president has went to in regards to his economic policy, but also joining picket lines in his support for unions.
UAW's president, when he was with us last week, said, when I asked him why the union hadn't yet endorsed President Biden, he said that has to be earned. Mm-hmm. That sounds like he's disappointed that party leadership is not doing as much as they could. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think it always has to be earned. And President Biden showing up to the picket line on Tuesday is a historic event. We have never seen in modern history a president show up to a picket line like this. And I think it should be earned. It needs to be earned. And I believe that President Biden is working towards that, especially when he lands in Michigan on Tuesday to earn that.
Yet some people still dare question which party aligns more so with the people.
2018 into 19, same thing. They shut the government down for 35 days. By the way, when the government shutdown began, Donald Trump was president. Republicans controlled the House and the Senate. In December of 2018, they shut themselves down. That's how much it's in their DNA. That time, what was the extreme ransom note? We want you to waste billions of dollars of taxpayer money to fund Trump's ineffective medieval border wall. Once again, we held firm, refused to pay their ransom note, and we were able to get the government reopened. Why are we going down this road again? We know how it's going to end. We're not paying a ransom note so you can jam your extreme ideology down the throats of the American people and hurt everyday Americans. We never have, and we never will.
Hey, Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.